Welcome to City Talk, a weekly conversation produced by the City of Waco to inform you about city events and projects. Each week, we'll bring you interesting topics with city staff and community leaders to highlight how Waco is an exciting place to live and work.
Hello, welcome to this week's City Talk. I'm Terri Cox, the Executive Director of the Cameron Park Zoological and Botanical Society, and with me I have Zoo Director Chris Vanskike and Deputy Zoo Director Johnny Binder.
Hello.
And we're going to tell you what's going on at Cameron Park Zoo. So Chris, it's been a really busy summer for us, and we've seen a lot of people come through the gates. You want to update us on the admissions?
Yes, we certainly have, Terri. Attendance has certainly picked up since our reopening from COVID. In August, so far this year, we've had 19,688 guests compared to last year of 19,925 for the entire month of August. And then looking before COVID back to 2019, our monthly total was 18,491. And for the year, right now, with a month to go in this fiscal year, we're sitting on 303,070 guests versus all of last year during our COVID, at which time we were closed for a 75-day period in mid-March through May. And that total was 213,861 guests versus our pre-COVID attendance year in 2020 of 322,560. It's a lot of numbers.
Yeah, and we've been doing really well, and we've had a lot of new memberships as well. In fact, our memberships are up substantially. I have July numbers for that, and we had an increase of 422 members, making us over 7,000 member households. So we're happy that people are enjoying our zoo, and we have a lot to offer them. We've got a lot of special events coming up. This fall, we have our first big event coming up will be in October. That's Brew at the Zoo, and our tickets go on sale tomorrow. And it's likely to sell out. We're doing it a little differently this year. We're having it over 2 nights. So you can come either on October 15th or October 16th. Tickets are $45, and you get 12 samples in a souvenir little tasting cup. You'll be able to hear different musicians as you stroll through the zoo and enjoy different craft beers from breweries around the area. And each night we'll have different breweries and a few returning ones. We are limiting the numbers to 500 people per night, so be sure and get your tickets early. And as I said, you can check our website. They go on sale tomorrow. In November, we'll have our Heb Zoo Stampede. We had it virtually last year, and it will be a live race this year. Our information about that is also on the website, but we have a 5K, 10K, and 1-mile run, and we hope that everybody will enjoy coming out and either walking or running this race. If you can't, you can still donate to our animals by going on to the registration and perhaps choosing to donate money to the Animal Enrichment Fund at Cameron Park Zoo. Our big event that's coming up, it's something we've never done at the zoo before, and all three of us are really excited about it. We're having a holiday lights event called Wild Lights. So you can come to the zoo beginning the day after Thanksgiving and ending January 9th. It begins at 6 p.m. on Wednesday through Sunday night, and Monday and Tuesday nights are available for rentals. But the zoo will be decked out in beautiful Christmas holiday lights, and the animals will be tucked away in their beds, and you'll have caroling and Santa Claus and s'mores and all kinds of wonderful things going on, different things throughout the whole run of the Holiday Lights event. So we hope that everybody will come out and visit us during that time. Tickets are for adults $15, for kids $12, and our members get in at a discounted rate, $13 and $10. So we hope that you'll all enjoy that. That's not all that's going on at the zoo, though. We've got a lot of construction going on as well. So I'll let you tell us a little bit about that.
Certainly, yes. We have currently at the zoo we have 4 capital construction projects going all at the same time in various stages of constructability. The first is the TIF expansion parking lot that is getting regraded. It's getting lights. It's getting drainage upgrades. It's getting ADA compliant sidewalks. And the completion date on that is scheduled for October 15th of this year. So we're very excited about that and adding parking. We had the groundbreaking for the Hoofstock barn on Tuesday, August 10th. And it was a huge success. Our contractor brought out a large excavator and tore down a large portion of the building on camera. And the old barn is now completely gone, and construction is officially underway. Third is the Education Veterinary Complex. That is currently in the design phase. We actually were in design meetings all morning with our architect, Perkins and Will.
We were.
And it's expected to be approximately a 15,000 square foot complex. One building will be the Zoo Veterinary Hospital, and the other building, which will be adjacent to that, will be the Education Building with 4 large classrooms and a special event rental space. In addition to housing the zoo's ambassador animals, we'll also house our staff in there, as well as a conference room space and break space. And then last, but not least, is our penguin project. That project has been approved for a construction manager at risk format, and that will start with architectural selection as early as next month.
You want to tell us a little bit about the penguins?
They're wonderful. They're warm weather penguins, so I really think they're going to enjoy our area in Central Texas, and we don't have to worry about a snowstorm or anything else bothering them. And so these are a very gregarious, very active species of penguin that will have a large outdoor area to swim in and dive in with enrichment features to provide for our keepers to feed them on exhibit, let the public witness that. And they will also have a penguin performance stage where we will do educational demonstrations with the penguins out more into the public area. This is one of the, out of all the projects that I've had the opportunity to work on, I believe this is one of the most exciting. I'm really looking forward to the penguins. Everybody loves penguins. And so this is going to be a wonderful project.
And I don't think that anyone really realizes how much goes on in designing animal holding areas. Our veterinary hospital, for instance, when we build a building for orangutans, we know we're building it to hold in orangutans, which have the strength of 8 NFL football players. But with the vet hospital, we have to look at all species that may come through that building. So that's been a really interesting challenge, don't you think?
Oh, certainly. And so you have to provide constructability that will withhold an animal that's strong. And we provide areas for veterinary care for something as large as a field mouse, all the way up to a large orangutan. And so it's a very diverse building that has a lot of unique design features.
One of the things that we talked about this morning was being able to manipulate big crates that are holding these animals when we come into the building and be able to swing them around in the hallway and get them into the holding spaces. So it is a really interesting design challenge that all zoos go through, but it's a lot of fun. We're having a really good time with it, and I think our keepers are super excited about not only a new animal exhibit, but also some new space for their animals to be cared for. So, Johnny, what other things are going on with our animal care department?
Well, I always get really excited when I talk about the animals. But a question I would like to answer, I've had several people ask me, where are your African kudu antelope? The barn is gone, and where are the kudu? We actually transported our 3 kudu to the Fossil Rim Wildlife Center, which is about an hour north of us near Fort Worth in Glen Rose, Texas. And they have hundreds of antelope of different species from around the world. And so our kudu will be very happy up there. They will stay until the completion of our barn. So we're really excited to see this new modern hoofstock barn for our animal collection.
Many people don't realize that zoos across the nation work collaboratively through species survival plans and then just through collaborative research efforts to help conserve nature and take care of animals and educate people about the need to conserve these animals. And so it's really nice to have our colleagues reach out and help us by holding animals when we need that to be able to upgrade their housing. And we do get animals from different zoos and aquariums on a regular basis, and we send our animals to other zoos and aquariums. And that's so that we can propagate the species or make a better pair if there's an animal that we have a whole plan called the Species Survival Plan that looks at genetics, and we hope to have a 100-year survival plan for each of the animals that participate in one. And we've received a couple of animals through SSP loans recently.
Yes, we have. I was just visiting with Chris on the way over here about two exciting new additions for our animals. A new Komodo Dragon, which is coming to us from the Chattanooga Zoo. This Komodo Dragon, they can get up to 8 feet long and almost 300 pounds. This one is almost 3 feet long. This is a youngster. His name is Flint. Not sure how he got his name. I'm sure it's an interesting story. And he's in quarantine right now, so be watching for Flint to come out onto exhibit. And also in our herpetarium or reptile department, we have some new Crocodile Skinks, they're a very unusual lizard from New Guinea. There are several species found throughout New Guinea. They're semi-aquatic. They live part of their life near and around bodies of water, such as creeks and rivers, and they have a very unique way of feeding and spines on the end of their scales. They're going to be a really cool exhibit in the herpetarium. So be watching Cameron Park Zoo's Facebook, and you'll find out a little bit more about when these animals will be ready for you to take a look at.
The crocodile skinks are one of my favorites, but I also love young Komodos because when you come see the Komodo now, you look on the ground. He's usually in the pool or on the ground. His name is Enum, our big one. This youngster, you look up if you don't see him because they climb really well when they're youngsters. It helps them survive so they don't get eaten by other big Komodos.
Komodos are very, to me, very primitive. And in fact, the reptile staff on the back of the building, it says, "Here be dragons." I thought that was kind of cool. But something interesting about Komodo dragons is, in the case of so many reptiles that lay eggs, like Komodo dragons do, the incubation time is typically about 60 to 70 days. With Komodo dragons, it's 18 months. So they have a really long process of development in that egg. And when they come out of the egg, they're almost 2 feet long. So it's a pretty unique animal.
They can also procreate via parthenogenesis. They don't really need a male. They just need a female she can fertilize her own eggs. So it makes for an interesting breeding plan, don't you think?
Yes.
We actually got our first Komodo dragons from Chris Vanskike's former institution, the San Antonio Zoo, and they were the first in the nation to have parthenogenic Komodos, and then we actually had some as well. So they're really interesting animals. We've had some other interesting things happening in our animal care department as well.
Yes, Timbo, our African elephant, has some new toys out in her yard. She has some enrichment feeders, and these are devices that she can actually spin with her trunk and get treats and hay and other enrichment items out of, and she is wearing those out as we speak. She really loves them, and so Timbo's been really active lately, swimming in her pool a lot, and so Timbo is a wonderful animal. I've always enjoyed working with Timbo. And something else really cool going on in our primate department, and I think as a lot of you know, we have the foremost cardiac care program in the world for orangutans. In fact, our lead keeper, Emily Ellison's, right now is in Los Angeles accepting an award from the American Association of Zookeepers, and she and a former zookeeper, Laura Klutz, wrote a paper. They were actually selected as the winners of the 2021 Susan D. Chan Authors of the Year Award for the Animal Keepers Forum magazine, which is a monthly publication of the AAZK. They won the award for a paper entitled "Put Your Heart Into It." This was the the resulted was of the development of the Cameron Park Zoo's Great Ape Cardio Health Workshop, which we put on, and people come from around the world to attend. The paper talks about the development and evolution of our cardiac program at Cameron Park Zoo. We are the world's leaders at that. We have been able to capture some of the first numbers ever in voluntary blood pressure, echocardiograms, blood draws, and many other diagnostics, and these are all done voluntary. And thanks to our Zoological Society, we now have a new X-ray port that we will be training the orangutans to voluntarily step into place, and so we can do X-rays without having to sedate them.
It's really important to take care of our animals' cardiac care, especially great apes, because they, just like humans, orangutans share 97% of our DNA. So just like us, they suffer from cardiac problems, and so we like to catch that early and keep them healthy. We have an exercise regimen. We are, like Johnny said, all of our adult orangutans do voluntary blood pressure with both finger cuffs and arm cuffs. And what we do with our cardiac workshops is bring people in, other zoo professionals from around the world, and teach them how to train their animals to allow voluntary cardiac work. And the reason that it's important to get the blood pressure and the EKGs and things like that while the animals are awake is because it's a different reading when they're asleep. So, and the reason it's important for it to be voluntary is it's done through protected contact because, like I said earlier, a male orangutan can weigh well over 200 pounds and have the strength of about 8 NFL football players. So you really want them to be willing to cooperate when you work with them.
Absolutely.
We lost quite a few cardiac blood pressure cuffs when we were first training because they are very inquisitive and they like to take things apart. So, but they are doing a great job in the animal care department. And of course, that's not the only animals that we do voluntary healthcare training with. Most of our cats are trained for blood draws and other things as well.
And this is not invasive. In fact, we make it fun for the animals. They actually they get to interact with their keepers. They usually get some sort of a treat. And so it's really interesting to see the evolution of animal care just since I've been in the business.
So we've also had some really good successes in our guest services and our retail end of the business as well. And that's really important because that's what funds all this. One of the things that fund all of the things that we do at the zoo. You want to touch on some of the cool things they have in the gift shop? Or
I can. Yes, we've had quite a bit of success. We've got a lot of new plush in. We've got some sustainable items, some sustainable shirts as well. All of the typical items. We're also offering snacks and other things so people can do one-stop shopping. It's been real successful. Lots of new hats, rain gear, anything that might tie back into the weather of the day.
or hour in Texas.
Yes.
And I think you've had the highest retail sales that we've seen in the zoo's history.
We have. It has been a successful year. Our attendance has remained strong, and the folks that are coming to the zoo are spending in the gift shop as well as the cafe. So it has been real successful, and we're very pleased with that because that money, of course, stays right here in town and helps us with future projects at the zoo.
The zoo is the largest tourist attraction the second most visited tourism attraction in the city of Waco, and it is the city of Waco's owned property, and it is of the properties that the city of Waco owns. It does have the highest visitation, so we are really proud of that, and we like to keep our guests happy. The Zoological Society is the support society for the zoo, so we help to raise funds for animal care and enrichment, for new development, and also for conservation efforts that we participate in worldwide. And it's a great team effort that we have, and the new expansion project is an even broader team effort because it's a collaboration between the McLennan County, who allowed us to go for a bond, the Zoological Society, who initiated the bond and has raised some additional funds, and then the city of Waco, who is managing the project and will take on the project as soon as it is completed. So it's a great partnership that we have, and it really benefits not only the people of McLennan County, but in all of Texas and our visitors. I think we contribute over $13 million a year to the McLennan County economy through the out-of-town visitors that we get to the zoo. So we have some other great things going on at the zoo, and we are the Zoological Society is sponsoring a trip to South Africa next year. It will be a really fun trip. We'll go to Kruger National Park, and we will end in Cape Town to see the penguins, and those are the South African penguins that we will eventually have at Cameron Park Zoo. If anyone is interested in joining us for this South Africa tour, you can check our website out or our Facebook page, and we will be happy to send you more information. The tour is scheduled for July 7th through the 20th, and we are really excited and I hope I get to go on it. I'm really looking forward to it. So other things going on in the education department. Chris has a great education curator, Connie Kastner, and she has given me some notes on things that she is doing. They have regularly scheduled scavenger hunts at the zoo. You download an app called Goose Chase, and teams can play this scavenger hunt. It's $20 per team, and the money benefits the education department and the outreach department. And the next one coming up is for World Rhino Day, and that one is on September 18th. Zoo School is about to start next week as well. We always get a kick out of zoo camps and zoo school. That is for children 4 years old and up. They can enjoy a wild time at the zoo. You can go on our website to get more information about that. It is held, sessions are held once a month for 6 months. And then we will resume our story time at the zoo for 2 to 6 year olds. It resumes Wednesday, September 13th. Is that the 13th? No, the 15th. And they have one story time at 10 a.m. and one at 11 a.m. And if you've never come to the story time, it's always fun. They usually have an animal that they present and then tell a great story about it. And so the kids have a really good time. I think that's probably one of the most fun things for me is to see kids interacting with the animals at the zoo. How about you? What's your favorite thing about the zoo?
Oh, I would agree. Well, I just wanted to also comment on the scavenger hunts, the goose chase. That I believe we started that last year, and it was successful almost from the beginning, almost immediately. So it was good to see that as a new idea, brought in some revenue. It really was popular with the guests. Favorite thing? Boy, there's so many. I mean, it's hard to really pinpoint. We've got giraffe feeding and some other things that are starting to come back, and that's always been popular. And of course, with our new baby Zeke over there too, who's just growing. Was he over 8 feet tall at this point?
He is, and while we're talking about giraffes, I have kind of a funny story.
Oh no!
So get ready.
And Chris trembles.
So when we were preparing for the new hoofstock barn, of course, we moved the kudu up to fossil rim. Well, the giraffe are a little bit tall to try to move. Our male is 17 feet tall, and so you really don't want to transport giraffes as adults unless you really have to. So we were worried about them being nervous or afraid of the construction noise, and so we put them back in their barn on some days, but they have an area behind their barn where they can get outside. But again, we were concerned they would be frightened or whatever because of the loud noise. And so we put up a divider fence to keep them separated and away from the contractors. Well, as it turns out, the giraffes are all a bunch of nosy Nellies. They come over and they want to look over the fence to see what the noise is and what's going on. And so they'll grab something to eat and stand over there and chew and watch the contractors at work. So
It's kind of the ultimate rubbernecking.
Yeah, they're very curious.
They are very curious. When we had our last contractors meeting at the site, both the giraffe were leaning over the fence, kind of sniffing at all of us, and then the birds were peeking through the fence at us, and it was kind of hard to concentrate because it's really kind of fun to watch the animals, and that's a lot more fun than listening to contractors.
Everybody participates in our meeting. You even get the input from the animals.
Exactly,
Door, so.
exactly. Well, at Cameron Park Zoo, we always have a lot going on, and between us, we have a lot of years' experience. Johnny, you had today, I think, is actually your anniversary of, it's not your zoo anniversary, right, is it?
my zoo anniversary is September 10th.
I knew it was coming up.
On September 10th, I will have been with the zoo for 48 years.
So he's been here just a little while.
I started when I was 2 years old.
Yeah.
And Chris, you've been in the zoo business for well over 20 years as well, right?
It's 98, I guess, 22 or 3.
And I started
count.
in 93. So between us, we look really young, but we
Yes.
have a lot of experience. Cameron Park Zoo is open to the public every day of the week except on holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. And we hope that all of you will come out to visit us and enjoy all of the fun things that happen every day at the zoo, and then all of the special events that will be coming up soon as well. We have just so many things happening, and our Facebook page is a great way to check up on that. When Johnny spoke about the Komodos, there is a Tails and Scales Tuesday that features reptiles. We have Wing Wednesday for birds and small mammals. So check it out every day, and you'll find something fun at Cameron Park Zoo. And we certainly enjoy sharing all that fun with you. Thank you, Chris and Johnny.
We hope you enjoyed City Talk, a production of the City of Waco. Catch this program on local radio stations on Sunday mornings at 6:30 a.m. Find the podcast on your favorite podcast streaming service by searching City of Waco, or view it online at wccc.tv.